Hey, the internet, y'all got us all the way up. We met that dude, Duke the Jeweler, the night before. We was gambling. The next day, dude followed us to the concert. When we left out the concert, we under the garage. Dude went to his car by himself and walked down to the parking lot. That's when somebody tried to kill him.
Is that a jeweler named Duke recently got killed. And the story's really messed up. So I want you to talk about what happened.
On that velvet table, Crimson Street dice danced as if they were taken from a criminal movie. Only one man would go with air in his chest, but they exchanged smirks. Jeweler Duke didn't leave peacefully. You have no money. With hunters all around him, he checked out of this reality. And now there is a looming dark cloud about mob ties. They're locked and loaded, the feds. Duke was no ordinary victim. It wasn't unknown to him in the back streets. This occurred immediately following his departure from Boosie's dice game, leaving with people who looked at him with suspicion one moment and handed him daps the next. Under the federal heat, those identical faces are now perspiring. Additionally, 50 Cent is out there turning up the music, giving away clues and hinting at a storyline twist that is far deeper than anyone anticipated. It's now unfolding like a crime drama in real life. 2 weeks prior to Takeoff's terrible departure, A. Duke was having fun at a J. Prince Jr. setup in a dice game that had uncanny resemblances. And everything breaks down when the wrong guy starts piling up wins. The inner circle of mob tie is currently being closely watched. Boosie once Lil Canino skated past J. Prince Jr. What began as murmurs, it's become legal documentation. However, how did it get to this point? Let's go back in time, since what appeared to be a chill from the beginning, the dice game might have been a smiling trap. Duke the Jeweler appeared to be living the dream from the outside. Chicago-raised, self-made, and created his empire from the ground up. Additionally, he wasn't only throwing chains to arbitrary people who were vying for influence. Not simply social media dazzle, this man was creating high-end pieces for real power players in the major leagues. He didn't just stop by Houston to flex. This was serious talk about money. According to rumors, Boosie secured a custom project. Thus, armed with the best pieces of pure Aishi, Duke packed his $1 million Louis bag and left. He was unaware that the business meeting might have been a covert ruse. Let's focus on that dice game now. Wasn't your average gambling night? If you believe the audio that was released from WAC 100, and this is coming from someone with a lot of street connections, it was planned. According to rumors, J. Prince Jr. may be responsible for what others are speculating is a loaded dice operation. And now for the mind-blowing part. The three names are always the same: Wolf, Big Capri, and Little Cam. They shuffle those dice in a cadence too flawless to ignore, like a practiced act. The twist is that unless someone interrupts the loop, and the entire script falls apart, House never loses.
Man,
You supposed to be mad at this. Oh, you mad? Oh, good. That nigga gonna have $1,000
Evening. Someone obviously messed up. Wax leaking suggests that Duke was given dice that weren't intended for him. They were indeed tampered with. He quickly began to win. He started with modest bills, then stacks, and before long, he was earning 5 figures. And those in charge become anxious when someone tampers with a system that is meant to be tightly controlled. Let's discuss numbers. According to sources, J. Prince Jr. supposedly keeps about 30% of each dice session. Therefore, it wasn't only bad timing when Duke began to rake it in. It was taking money away from someone. Duke didn't keep quiet about it either. He was bright, lively, and boisterous. Tossing money like confetti and filming every flex for social media, he was on full ice. This is where things start to get chilly. When you freeze the footage from that evening, you'll see Boosie whistling softly. Not loud, but just enough. His nephew then makes eye contact with Duke. Then, as a silent cue, a man wearing a red sweatshirt leans close and taps the nephew's arm. The entire atmosphere changes in an instant. For a moment, Duke is beaming and living big. Next, the air seems to have been sucked out, leaving the room. And Duke disappears a few minutes after that change in energy. You can't create that kind of feeling. There was no hesitancy here, it was instinct. Because the vibe is odd when you enter a room full of people who already know how the story ends. Ask yourself why Boosie would arrive with a visitor flashing $1 million drip around strangers, without even a hint of backup if you're still convinced that this was just another gaming night. For someone rolling solo with that much ice, why didn't J. Prince Jr. lock in any sort of security? Back it up to the point at which Duke left the game. No entourage, no muscle, and no ride on standby. After an evening in the company of wealth, Duke is seen wandering alone across a dimly lit Houston parking lot. Does it feel strange? For that reason, it is. However, this is where suspicion becomes deadly. A few seconds later, the silence is broken by the sound of gunfire. Duke is caught off guard and sadly fails to make it. The jewels and money generally disappear first in a setup or tricky theft, but Duke still had everything on him. What sort of alleged heist then does not include the $1 million drip? Hours before events took that terrible turn, he showed off those same icy pieces during Boosie's concert.
Hard time, but never gave up. I stayed tough, even when I got my chain stuck. Go through hard time, but we know that what made us. Can't blame us, we love the script, but that what paid us. Yeah, ain't gonna ask, I know them niggas laid up. I call King like get the president going where I'm up. I can't even find you know how many nights I stayed up.
At this point, the story completely changes course. The bag Duke was carrying was a Louis Vuitton. Yes, that sack. The one that contained his most valuable, unreleased, specially crafted ice. It did not simply disappear into the darkness. It came to the surface in Boosie's own home. Give it time to marinate. It's not hearsay. The Houston Police Department verified it. No one is providing clear answers as to whether Duke gave it to Boosie to keep safe throughout the game or whether Boosie acquired it in some way after things went south. Here's what is indisputable though. That bag returned to Boosie's location. Duke didn't. And Boosie's explanation, a nervous Instagram live from an aircraft, dismissed everything as if Duke hadn't even crossed his mind. Simply a stranger who appeared out of nowhere. Right? Convenient timing? However,
he was walking to his car or something, and some dude tried to rob him. Some dude tried to rob him. Some dudes had tried to rob me and walked off by himself, bro. I had just met dude yesterday. Some bitch that tried to rob dude, man. Dude must ain't get up.
Folks from Flight Jack, we're number 2 to departure. Flight attendants, please clear the cabin.
Just met dude.
Duke was meant to make him a unique piece, didn't Boosie say? You invited the man to an exclusive dice game even though you hardly knew him, and then you let him go to his car by himself, displaying an impressive amount of gloss. Yes, that story has more flaws than a soap opera twist. Boosie didn't stop there either.
We was in a garage. He must have walked outside to the parking lot. We was in a garage. We heard this, but it like they was far away in the parking lot. He must have went to his car or something, bro. Dude was finna make a piece of him too. Damn.
He wasn't exactly serving benign energy, let's face it. It was impossible to ignore the frenetic mood and pallid face. And fasten your seatbelt if you believe that was the height of the drama. It only gets worse. The authorities, who were already investigating Boosie for a different set of dubious activities, separated Duke's case into a distinct federal investigation. Don't play waiting games. Being treated at the back of the queue. One objective is to find out what truly happened with Duke. They followed the digital breadcrumbs, of course. Duke's final phone call ping, Boosie's workspace. And someone in Boo's group took the phone there unless it somehow developed legs. Even worse, nobody made an effort to conceal it. It simply turned off immediately after the ping, as if someone wanted it to vanish silently with no damage or removal. The feds were offended by that. Then Duke's rental was ripped apart. Fingerprints from Boosie's cousin and nephew were retrieved by forensics. And surprise, just when you thought this was Maxwell pandemonium, a casual witness just outside the puffin claimed to have witnessed Duke making his way to his automobile alone. Everything appeared to be quiet until it wasn't. Boosie's nephew suddenly appeared as if he had been waiting for the right moment. Duke reportedly threw the initial hit, so he must have detected the change in atmosphere, made an effort to compete. However, the situation had already changed with a single swift motion, and Boo's nephew is said to have fired that shot. The worst part is still to come. They made no attempt to stage it as a robbery. Why? Because money was not at stake here. It concerned silencing him. They kept the bag rather than throwing it away. It's more than just careless. That's bold. Who do you think made that daring move? 50 Cent. Have you noticed that there's usually that subliminal warning when celebrities land in Houston? You should check in. It's known, but it's never written down. Ballers, influencers, and artists all get the message. You run a serious danger if you enter Houston without revealing your identity to J. Prince Jr. and the Mob Ties team. This is the messy aspect, though, that nobody wants to acknowledge. What if the people pulling strings are the same crew you're instructed to check in with? Remember that Duke rolled up to a dice game that was hosted by Prince Jr. He was killed by the same setup from the night takeoff. And that whole check-in mood changed from safety to side glances after Duke disappeared as well. Because two visitors leaving caskets would be strange if J. Prince Jr. had Houston on lock, as he says. Whack 100 had to be heard.
Entertainer invites him in. Act like he's covering for him, hanging out, everything is cool. Let's go here, let's go there, let's go here, let's go there. He introduces the dice game. He got three right, who rotate the dice. Now these dice is loaded. Tell me it's a Wolf, Big Caprice, and watch this, and Little Cam are the loaded dice rotators, right? He said, what? There was a situation that occurred that a certain jeweler round and got past the dice on accident and was hitting on them for a couple hundred. They got irritated about that. I ain't gonna go too far into that story because, right, boom. The only way they could get their money back was however their money back. He said, but Lil Cam, Wolf, and Big Caprice are the three designated to say I'm up, I got the next, and they pass the dice to each other, but they loaded, but they shooting.
He referred to the entire situation as a setup, claiming that J. Prince Jr. entices musicians with a fake, cozy feel, relaxes them, and then throws them into dice games with people.
Nevertheless, to all the entertainers, you know, Dukes of Hazzard was one of my favorite shows, right? I don't know if y'all watched that. I was thinking about Daisy Dukes for a reason. I don't know why I said that. You know, one might go with it, may not go with it, but I don't know. The math is math and let it math. But entertainers, beware. Oh, with J. Prince Jr., when he talked about let's go shoot some dice. Because the loaded dice crew is three, Lil Cam, Wolf, and Big Caprice. We know Lil Cam in there because I believe somehow, some way, he was caught up in the dice situation. Rest in peace, Takeoff. I don't know what's going on. But what I do know this, J. Prince Jr. got a whole thing that when y'all come into town, hold on, bro. Didn't they say Fifth Ward earlier that day shooting dice?
Yep, that's a fact. That word been out, Wet. That word been out. We been out that memo.
And then, so they've been getting hit all day, and it got to the point at the thing, Quavo like, that into dice. That's what this nigga J. Prince Jr., boy, these niggas got all kind of shit going on down there. They say, he said the jeweler nigga got past the dice. He didn't even know the motherfuckers was loaded. He just think he hit. These niggas is mad as a motherfucker. Cause they like, nigga, how you pass this nigga the loaded dice?
The rumors are on the street now. A few celebrities are subtly retreating. Houston events are being canceled by labels. The atmosphere is growing intense. The entire game has been on fire as 50 Cent has been directly criticizing videos and providing subtitles that don't hold back. He's playing with fire, according to some. Others believe that he is the only one with the courage to express what everyone is thinking. Meanwhile, according to insiders, Boosie's there's no escaping this time and he's unraveling in fear that the feds are breathing down his neck. They focused only on the night Duke was killed, separating this case from Boosie's prior gun problem. They're now investigating everything. His residences, his financial transactions, and even his son's online footprint. However, his inner circle may be the source of the true drama. According to rumors, Boosie's girlfriend told someone that he returned inside that evening and appeared to be undoubtedly concealing something. However, Boosie is still out there behaving as though he has no idea what he's doing and performing as though he deserves an award. And as if we haven't heard that same phrase 100 times before, he continues to twist it. The actual teeth are now being whispered about. Boosie falls. Who is he bringing along? Because Boosie isn't a solo act, let's face it. In the midst of the chaos is his nephew. In the midst of all of this lies the name of his cousin. Additionally, he has ties to J. Prince Jr., who's previously been the target of criticism following Takeoff's disastrous departure. Everything feels disorganized. Additionally, it appears like all of the threads go back to the same circle. Hold on though, because it gets even hotter. Twice, Finesse. Mob ties, the same artist who once championed Hardy's, is now out here disparaging him directly. He dropped J. Prince Jr. from his name. In each and every sit-down to hardly say his name, clearly something broke. Initially, the change was subtle. Junior's elegance had stopped appearing. No behind-the-scenes photos or joint performances. The murmurs then became loud. Apparently, it all fell apart over a woman. Not just any woman, though. The mother of Finesse's child. Ash and her own mother. Are accused of setting him up, involving the police, and getting him into problems again because of a probation issue. You know who cleaned it up for you? J. Prince Sr., of course. After a few phone calls and some behind-the-scenes networking, Finesse was back out in 2 weeks. Was he loyal, though? Not at all. Finesse immediately returned to her. The senior tapped out at that point. He loudly stated it on Twitter, no sugarcoating. I advise the homie who truly loves his life to avoid that chick at all costs. I had to intervene to get the buddy out of jail, but he refused to listen to what I had to say. You should exercise caution if you believe that these women are looking out for your best interests. At this point, the drama goes from clumsy to downright explosive. There are rumors that J. Prince Jr. Finesse's girl may have been the target of creeping. According to rumors, he even supposedly got her pregnant. Is there evidence? Not at all. However, it hasn't been put down by the fact that people are even doing it with grace. That says a lot. Some fans began to piece it together, while others dismissed it as sloppy hearsay. Junior and the Takeoff crew have been at odds. He and Boosie are developing a quiet static. And now, in front of everyone, Finesse is crumbling. People want to know how many silent wars you can start before your entire kingdom falls apart. Let's be truthful. It only takes one slip up when your brand is all about intimidation, control, and behind-the-scenes chess plays. One leak, one treachery, one artist, and suddenly all is gone. Now everyone's eyes are locked. Will it be Boosie who speaks up first? Will 50 Cent's fixation with underworld drama lead J. Prince Jr. to fabricate the entire tale and rescue himself? Or will Finesse reveal the truth? In any case, it is rapidly approaching. Additionally, those gentle whispers are becoming door-knocking echoes. Federal investigators are closely examining Boosie's wealth concealments behind the scenes. The baton, the entire Rouge estate, and his Georgia land are being filmed. Every coin is being tracked. Thus, this is no longer only conjecture. Officially, Boosie is in the hot seat. Not to mention that J. Prince Jr. stole the show. The performers are withdrawing. Labels are taking a backseat. This isn't a little music dispute. Rico's energy is evident in this, and it will only take one leak, whether from the feds or TMZ, to prove that Duke's claimed shooter was actually captured on camera.